In this series, I'm going to see if I can remove the iPhone from the Apple ecosystem and replace it with an Android device. On this episode, I'll be focusing on the Mac. Now, this is going to be one of my biggest pain points, or at least I think it will be. Like I said in the intro, the Mac and the iPhone have a symbiotic relationship. You can copy and paste between the Mac, the iPhone, and the iPad. It's amazing. You can hand off apps from your iPhone to your Mac and back and forth. You can answer calls on your Mac. You can unlock your Mac using your Apple Watch and use it to authorize passwords. There's screen mirroring, and all of the Apple apps are like the same on both devices. Music, podcasts, FaceTime, messages, notes. And maybe the biggest convenience of all for me is the Files app. Yeah, that's right. On my Mac, I save absolutely every file to the Files app in iCloud so I can access them from my iPhone and my iPad. So I'm going to test out these features and see how well I can get my Mac to play along with my Android device. And hopefully I'll get one step closer to figuring out whether or not I can switch to Android while being trapped in the Apple ecosystem. I wanted to give an update on the overall process because aside from this testing, I'm walking around with two devices that are both activated with numbers, and I started to really get into the Samsung. I'm making this device my own. I'm customizing every little aspect of it. I'm logged into all my apps. I'm communicating on it. But after iMessage and as I'm testing it out with a Mac, I think it's actually a strong possibility that I can switch. And now I'm kind of rooting for that to happen. I want to be able to replace it. I want to be able to switch. And I do keep kind of going back and forth on this too. Every time I'm using iMessage with someone, every time someone FaceTimes me, there's a lot of things that want to pull me back in the other direction. But then again, there's the customizations and automations, and I'm in a conversation using WhatsApp and it's able to translate the entire conversation into another language. I feel like I keep changing my mind and I'm going back and forth. I think Apple's going to win. I think Android's going to win. And I just really don't know. But that's good. I think it's good for the series, too, that I keep getting pulled back and forth. I literally thought that Samsung was going to keep losing, and it's not. So I'm kind of hopeful. And honestly, I would love it if I can just switch back and forth. Okay, so I've definitely been most concerned about the Mac when trying to switch from iPhone to Android. And you know what? All of my Android friends seem to use Windows computers. I don't. I use a Mac, and that's my finger. And everything I do is on my Mac. The biggest deal for me is the file system. I save all of my files to iCloud within the Mac Files app, which is the same app on the iPhone and the iPad. I can be anywhere with my iPhone and access every single file on my Mac. Now, there are alternatives I've used in the past, like Google Drive File Sync, and I don't remember it being quite as good, but I think it should work. Okay, so I downloaded and installed Google Drive on my Mac. It looks like I have a couple of options. I can either back up files on my Mac, or I can select Google Drive, and then I could either stream files or mirror files. Okay, so it seems like mirroring is the way to go if I want to be able to have all my files on both the Mac and the Samsung, and I can open it, edit it, save it, and then it's the same on the other device. Okay, so it just created a folder on my Mac, and I'm going to drag the folder I just created into there. Yes, I want to move that. Okay, so now we're going to test it on the Samsung. Okay, so here's the folder. That's the one I just dragged in. Let's open this text note. Okay, let's see. Let's open up with Joda Plus, if that's how you pronounce it. Is this working? Okay, save. Oh, it did it, didn't it? Yes, it is. Oh, there we go. Yes, it is. Awesome. Save. And there it is. It looks the same on both devices. So it is possible I'd like to download a nicer looking app than this one, and I'm sure that's possible. It's only a text file. There's screen mirroring. You're kind of in the way. When I record video, a lot of the times I'm mirroring my screen to my Mac or my Apple TV to use as a monitor. It's so convenient. Now, there are other solutions like apps like AirDrop, or I use OBS Studio, which can provide that functionality if I'm recording to my computer. So check this out. I go to screen mirroring, send it to my Mac, and there it is. And again, I can basically just mirror my screen. I'm going to go to video. So, I can basically record whatever I want, and I have a monitor like that. Now, there are other options. I just don't think they're quite as seamless as this. Ooh, look at that. I like that. Now, if I want to use my Samsung Galaxy to mirror the screen and use it as a monitor when I'm recording videos like this, I can actually do so using OBS. So that was a really quick and easy setup. There's Apple Photos and there's Google Photos. Now, Apple Photos has a native app that's pretty much the same app on the iPhone on your Mac. Google Photos is in your browser, but I have to say I actually prefer Google Photos anyway. I mean, just for the facial recognition alone, it's so much better. And Apple has a lot of glitchy things, like sometimes it just refuses to sync. So I prefer Google Photos. There's copy paste. You can literally copy text on your Mac and paste it on your iPhone, or vice versa, or on your iPad. It's crazy, so convenient. If you can actually highlight text on your Mac, it's almost Mother's Day. I can say copy, and then I can go on my iPhone here, paste. It's almost Mother's Day. And of course, Apple's entire suite of apps just syncs seamlessly. Whether it's Apple Music or podcasts, it'll remember the position you were at on your iPhone, on your Mac. Now, of course, I actually use YouTube Music for music and for podcasts. We already went over Google Messages in the browser, which can replace iMessage, even though it's not quite as seamless. I really could care less about Apple Notes. I actually don't even like it and have been looking to switch to another provider anyway. FaceTime really is great, but I could use Google Meet or WhatsApp. There are things like Handoff where you can be working on an app on your iPhone and then click it on your Mac and just resume work there. But yeah, I'm a Firefox user. Hate me if you will, I know I'm a minority, but I could be browsing on Firefox on my device and send the tab to another device. So I can send it from my Android phone to my Mac with ease. Can I at least share this with you? So I can be working on my Mac and listening to my AirPods while editing one of these videos, and a call comes through, and I can just click my AirPods, answer the call on my Mac through my iPhone. I don't even have to know where it is. Maybe it's in the other room, and it accepts the call through FaceTime, which is such a convenience. That's something I'm definitely going to lose. I can also unlock my Mac using my Apple Watch, and I can use my Apple Watch to authorize passwords on my Mac. Of course, I could just reach forward and press Touch ID. Not a huge deal, but it's still a thing. And there's probably more. I bet I'm forgetting some things. All right, so I think I'm definitely going to be able to do this. Google Drive file sync isn't quite as seamless as it is using Mac files with iCloud, but it's good enough. It gets the job done. And as far as screen mirroring, there isn't any solution that's quite as seamless as Apple, but I can record using something like OBS. Ow, you're biting my finger, dude. And there's several apps that do a good enough job with that it's not going to deter me from switching. The thing is with this series, though, dude, you're licking my nose, man. But I'm going to have to look at the big picture in this entire series, because if I'm losing a ton of little conveniences, that's going to add up. So a lot of these things I'm going to be able to successfully replace, and a lot of them I'm going to have to deal without. If the Mac was the only deciding factor in this process, then yeah, I think I can switch and get away with it. It wouldn't be the end of the world. I am losing a ton of little features and conveniences, but it's not the end of the world. However, throughout this series, I'm testing a lot of different things. And that's a different story, because if I'm losing so many little features and conveniences, I'm going to have to figure out what I'm actually gaining from switching to Android and if it's still worth it. So if it's just the Mac, yeah, I think I can pull it off. But again, there's lots of other things to consider. In the next episode, we're going to focus on Android Auto and see if it can stack up against CarPlay. In the past, I've had nothing but problems with Android Auto, and hopefully they've been resolved, or I can dig deeper and find a better fix. I literally returned my last Android device because Android Auto wouldn't work with my car, but I'm determined to make it work this time. Or maybe it'll just work right out of the box. I haven't tried it yet, so we're going to see together. So make sure you subscribe so you can follow along. And we're going to see if I can actually remove the iPhone from the Apple ecosystem and switch fully to Android. And thank you so much for watching.